Hello and welcome to the Legacy Crusaders YouTube channel. This is Benji, and today I am joined by MrEase, the Fluffal duelist. What's up, MrEase?
I'm doing all right. How are you today?
Oh, I'm fantastic. I actually have several recordings scheduled, including another one with Giant Skyhawk on Scrap Dino. So if anyone's interested in Scrap Dino, that'll be going up soon. You and Giant Skyhawk also worked on some Fluffal builds, and there's been some Fluffal success
That's
lately.
correct.
It's led to some buyouts and things. So, I figured everyone would be interested in playing a regular Fluffal deck. Skyhawk was on a more, what do you call it, like Scythe Turbo deck, I think.
Yeah, though the build that he took top four in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Palace line was actually more of a standard going second build recently. So that variant is also out there online for people to check out and will eventually be posted by MBT.
All right. So if anyone has any interest in that, stay tuned and posted to MBT's channel for the Scythe Turbo version. When we say Scythe, I mean Artifact Scythe, because we also play Fluffal Scythe. If anyone's not familiar with the series, the way it works is I bring on someone who knows how to play a deck. I play the deck over a few games on Yugioh Pro, and the presenter will tell us what to do, and I will try and ask questions about the plays and decisions that are being made live in-game. We'll do a quick card by card if anyone wants to pick up the cards. I do have a TCGPlayer affiliate link if you have any interest in supporting the channel in any way. Or feel free to subscribe. We're just about at 5,000 subscribers. Maybe you can be number 5,000. Got Psyframe Driver, 3 Fluffal Dog, the cutest monster in Yu-Gi-Oh!, 3 Fluffal Penguin, never mind, I changed my mind, 2 Fluffal Dolphin, now I'm really not sure, 3 copies of Edge Imp Chain, 3 Fluffal Bear, 1 Edge Imp Sabers.
At least with that Jim Chain, you don't have to worry. That's not as cute.
Yeah, 2 Edge Imp Scythe, 3 Psyframe Gear Gamma, 1 Fluffal Sheep, 1 Fluffal Cat, 2 Fluffal Wings, 1 Frightfur Fusion, 3 Performapal Popper-Up, I like this card, 2 copies of Polymerization, 3 copies of Frightfur Patchwork, 3 Foolish Burial Goods, 1 Frightfur Repair, 3 Toy Vendors. In the extra deck we're on 2 Frightfur Whale, 3 Frightfur Sabertooth, 1 Frightfur Kraken, 1 Frightfur Tiger, 1 Hope Harbinger Dragon Titanic Galaxy, 1 Bahamut Shark, 1 Abyss Dweller, 1 Totally Awesome, 1 Appaloosa Bow of the Goddess, 1 Psyframe Lord Lambda, 1 Proxy F Magician, 1 Cross Sheep, and in the side deck we're on 2 copies of Eldritch the Golden Lord, which I really like, 3 copies of Gardala the Mystery Dust Kaiju, the 3rd Edge Imp Scythe, I assume for going second, 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, 1 Polymerization, 3 copies of Forbidden Droplet, 3 Twin Twister, and 1 Red Reboot. I actually like that the poly's a different type than the ones in the main deck. That way you can remember to side it out and IRL play.
So my reasoning is that sometimes I'm not sure whether I want to play 2 or 3. So having the alternate artwork allows me to tell whether or not it's getting in my way or whether it's helping me.
Oh, like if you're bricking on the extra copy or just like a regular copy?
Yeah, exactly. Or it also helps decide it so that I don't have to make sure that Patchwork resolves in order for me to have a fusion play, because fusions are a great way for the deck to break boards, and not having to rely on a spell to resolve in order to do that. Just being able to see the poly more often is good, but only really when you're going skin.
Okay. Is there anything else weird in your deck list that other Frightful players may or may not be familiar with?
Well, Eldritch the Golden Lord in the side is an example. For example, it's great at breaking boards, both being in such a huge monster, and also through its send effect. By sending it and Toy Vendor, you can send something from your opponent's side of the field to the graveyard. Then the vendor triggers and gets you Bear. When you activate Bear and set a vendor from your deck, and then you send that vendor to summon Golden Lord as a 100 attack beater. Then that vendor triggers and gets you Penguin, which allows you to set vendor from your graveyard and get you a Wings, which will allow you to draw 2 and just and search 1. So it's a great way to both be an extender, be removal, and be a huge body that can threaten even stuff like Ultimate Conductor Tyranno and force it to set something face down, for example.
Okay, I think I heard Giant Skyhawk saying it was good versus Hot Red Dragon Archfiend.
Yeah, Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss, it threatens that because it's bigger. There's a lot of good examples of things that just throwing a 3,500 attack monster at, just to threaten, will really put pressure on your opponent.
The other thing I wanted to ask about is just because like people are buying out Fluffal Octopus at the moment. Is that card needed? I see it's not in this list.
That card is very good for specifically the Necrofusion build for summoning off of your own Cross Sheep on the opponent's turn. It's not really used in this build because this is a build that's focused on Sabertooth and rank 8 plays for Hope Harbinger, which is why I used Cat instead, because Cat allows you to just add the poly back so that you can fuse with Kraken and another Edge Ember Fluffal for a Sabertooth to make an instant rank 8 play. There's generally 3 Fluffal 1-ofs that people will choose one of those 3 in order to sort of define their version of the deck. There's Cat, Owl, and Octo, and usually people will go with one of those 3 as a 1-of, but not everybody plays all 3. Usually it's just one of the 3.
And the other thing that stands out to me is I'm not sure I've seen a lot of people playing Popper Up. Thoughts on this card?
So Perform a Pal Popper Up solves about 4 to 5 different problems with the deck. The first one is that there are just hands where you have too many Edge Imps and not enough Fluffals, and most of the Edge Imps are fairly great in the graveyard. 2, you want to be able to send Vendor in your hand, but from your hand, but sometimes you don't have another Vendor to send the Vendor in the first place. 3, there's hands that build up with multiple hard ones per turns, like drawing multiple dog, multiple bear, multiple of some of the spells like goods or patchwork. So it's just good to be able to reset your hand. And 4, it's great bait for Ash Blossom, where depending on how good the things you're sending are in the graveyard, such as Vendor, Wings, Chain, Sabers, Repair, your opponent could Ash your Popper Up and you won't even care. Because if you pitch a Vendor and a Chain for Popper Up, you're not going to care that they ashed your draw 2. You're about to search a Patchwork and a Dolphin, and then that Patchwork's going to add 2 more cards to your hand, and that Dolphin's going to set up Wings and get you a +3. So it's really good bait on top of also allowing you to reset some of your hands, because the core problems with this deck is nothing does anything on its own.
Sounds like Shadal,
everything
like too many dolls with no fusion and vice versa.
Yeah, everything combos with each other gets you more advantage, but sometimes you're just not going to see those things that combo with each other. See, for example, seeing hands with only Edge Imps and Polys and no Fluffals, that's something that unfortunately happens. So having a card like Popper Up that serves the function of digging through your deck, and I guess the 5th thing that it helps you with is the fact that if you don't have Vendor, you don't have your resource engine, and even though you're playing 12 copies of Vendor functionally, you won't always see it. So having an additional draw engine to help you really helps to ensure that you get to it.
Sounds good. Nothing else here seems particularly odd to me, so I think we're good to get into some games. Are you ready to duel?
Yeah. A lot of people haven't really been playing Gamma, but my build uses Gamma a lot, and that's because the build itself is... Oh, you should want to go first. I should mention, this is a going first build.
Yeah, I wasn't 100% on that one.
Okay, so this is an interesting hand. You can kind of use Popper Up safely in order to ensure that you, by keeping one of the Gammas. So I would say discard the one of the Gammas and the Penguin here.
Was that an ideal draw?
Not, that's fine. All right. This is a really it's fine. It's just a very awkward one. So we're gonna normal summon the dog.
What should we
Because
take?
we already put a Fluffal into our graveyard.
Oh, I think it cut out
Wings.
for a second. Wings? Alright.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. And then we can pitch the Wings with the Vendor.
Ooh, dog.
And we fit another dog. So we can special summon anything from our hand, so let's summon that Sabers.
Oh, whoops. I accidentally pressed dog.
That's okay. So now we can use wings, banish. Perfect.
What should we draw?
So here
Oh, add.
Here we want to get a... Let's get a sheep.
Alrighty.
And now we can amass advantage by using the patchwork to get chain and poly.
Hello? I can't tell if you're talking or not.
We can use the goods to get another penguin.
Okay.
I am talking. I'm saying you can get goods to get another penguin.
Okay. It was between then and then. I wasn't
by
sure.
sending the event. Okay.
Something's up with my Discord lately, everyone, just so you know. Penguin. Got it.
Yeah. So now we can special the sheep. Bounce back one of these dogs.
Alright.
And summon the chain. The chain, yeah.
Gotcha.
And then link off chain and sheep for cross sheep.
Sheep for sheep. Got it. And cross it up with the chain.
Yeah. Now we can use chain to search Fright for fusion. And fuse with sabers and penguin for kraken using the poly.
I love Kraken. This card's broken.
And make sure to summon it in a cross sheep zone.
Chain link order.
And now cross sheep and the penguin will form a chain link.
What should we bring back?
We should bring back the penguin.
And what should we pitch?
And we should discard the goods because we've already used it.
Alrighty.
And it's a hard once per turn. So now we can special summon any of the Fluffals in our hand with the penguin. We should go with the bear to keep the dog for later.
Okay.
Bear. And now we can fuse. Now we can link for proxy F.
Using which monsters?
Whichever ones other than Kraken.
So should we use the cross sheep or just the?
Yeah, cross sheep and bear is good.
Okay.
Good, sorry.
Does it matter which zone I go to?
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
Now we can fuse again for a Sabertooth.
I think our opponent might be about to Nibiru. At least they're thinking, which is good. I have a higher timer set, but whoopsies. It's good for the timer purposes, not good for us.
That's okay. So unfortunately here we kind of have to stop. Normally this deck, when you have access to Penguin and Finn, has a really easy time playing around Nibiru because you can just make Toad by summon 4 or 5.
Gotcha.
Right now we could actually make a Lambda with the token and our Edge Imp Sabers in order to ensure that we can interrupt whatever they do with that Gamma.
Might not be safe to play that into Nib.
Yeah, but yeah,
well,
that's
your choice.
That's probably better to just keep the large token, I guess.
Yeah, I think we should pass here, right?
Yep.
Okay. Hopefully we live. Token is pretty big.
Yeah. Again, normally when you don't have to commit your normal summon to dog right away, you can ensure that you're protected from Nibiru, but you don't always get to Penguin Dolphin to get that protection
Okay.
as your initial summons.
Sometimes we get some extra specials off of like vendor for free, right?
Yeah. In fact, that entire turn you never got access to Dolphin.
Yeah. Well, it was definitely not the maximum triple vendor popping all the vendors kind of a play.
No. No, I've generally said amongst Fluffal, the Fluffal community, that if your hand is kind of sparked by normal summoning dog, it's kind of an awkward hand.
That almost makes me feel like I'd rather not even play dog in some cases.
I've been thinking of cutting dog to 2 just because the Gamma build, but on the other hand, Toy Vendor is so important that playing 12 copies versus playing essentially 11 copies is such a huge difference that I'm not sure if I'd want to make that sacrifice.
No, I hear you.
So this
Definitely
is
just
Glad
dog into
Brigade.
bear.
This is
Yeah, they're on the Glad Brigades.
Well,
Someone plays this.
well. Next turn you Chibi Gohan.
Yeah.
Well, next turn you'll actually be able to make a pretty big push using that Fright for Fusion to send Cruel Whale.
Well, that's
to
if we
dump the
live.
repair to not only if we live, yeah. Which I'm not sure is that likely because we're probably just gonna get smashed in the face.
Well, this isn't Geyserus, so we're not getting popped.
Yeah.
He could just make
And we
Omen,
do
I
have
think.
Yeah, we do have the Gamma for if they try to oh. Once they try to pop the nib, and if they activate anything else after that, we do have free access to Gamma.
Alright, so we need them to misplay. That's fine, it happens.
Yeah. Again,
Come
that
on.
was not a great hand for starting out, just because of...
Well, we didn't have, like, the best
to get rid of
discards.
the...
Alright,
Yeah.
they got it. We'll scoop.
Yeah.
Game 2, Glad Brigade. Side deck ideas. What are you thinking?
So we can either just keep going, because our build is pretty solid for going first. Or we could try to surprise them by blinding in a bunch of going second board breakers.
I think that's a good
so
idea
which
when
would you
we actively chose to go first in game 1. So they might expect us to go first. So making them go first and maybe having something that can out the board like Kaijus or
Yeah.
Droplet might be good.
So switch out the popper up for the droplets.
Alright.
And then I would say switch out one copy of Dog for the third Scythe.
Okay.
And then maybe repair for one Eldritch. I don't know.
I was thinking it might make sense to put in the Kaiju just in case they do like the barrier statue.
That's true. They might be on the barrier statue variant. Yeah, so repair and maybe one wings for 2 Kaijus.
Just in case.
Just in case. That's a good plan. Oh,
This is
oh my
pretty good.
god! That's the best going second hand I've ever seen.
I assume we were okay with that.
So we can Gamma right away if we want. We can Gamma right away if we want.
Gamma that, or
'cause
should
we
we
can
wait for
actually
him to?
ensure
Okay.
yeah, just Gamma that so that they, in case they are playing a build with like Revolt or something, so that they don't get all those banished targets.
Now we actually have something to pop where we don't have to pop our own whale, right?
Yeah, so we can pop our driver so that it doesn't get banished.
End of main phase. It looks like they're just ending
Or-
turn.
We can Cruel Whale now to make sure we draw 2.
Well, the problem with this is if they were waiting to see if we would do that, we were giving up our disruption. So they probably don't have anything.
We are. Yeah, actually, there's no need to then.
Well,
I was gonna say just for the.
All right.
Yeah. So now we get free access to Toad because we can Foolish Burial Goods for the Dolphin.
And I guess we lose to negating the penguin, I guess.
Oh,
Well,
that's actually fine though, because we can still go. Yeah, we can still go Dolphin into Penguin into Dolphin into Toad.
and we can still
make sure
set
to
up.
use Dolphin's effect. Yeah, exactly. So we can either set up a Wings or we can set up a Sabers. Let's just set up a Wings for next turn because we don't really need to link off the.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shark.
Perfect. Yep.
Oh, should have attacked first, right?
That's okay. 22 versus 26 isn't that big of a deal. Let's put back the let's send the Penguin, because if Toad triggers and we get back Penguin, we'll also be getting back the Scythe,
Okay.
making the Scythe live. So we can attack with the Toad. And then main phase 2, set the Droplet.
Any thoughts
And we
on
can
maybe
send
playing a
the
Zeus?
vendor that's set.
But what about the vendor?
No. On our opponent's turn, we can use the Droplet as interruption by sending the vendor to negate.
Okay.
And also that will put a Fluffal into our hands to make the Scythe live.
All very cool plays. Any thoughts on playing a Zeus?
I don't really particularly think so. Zeus is good, but there aren't that many opportunities where you have the Bahamut Shark left.
That's fair. The Eldritch Fluffal deck I was testing didn't really have enough monsters to like make Appaloosa and use it. So he's got a vanilla in hand, he's summoning a vanilla. It seems like we'll be able to negate the Test Panther, right?
Yeah, the Test Panther's probably the best negate.
Or we can droplet it just so that we can keep Toad for something that's more threatening.
Mm-hmm.
A vanilla deck. Not that often that there's a deck where vanillas are that good. What do you think, Droplet?
Yeah, so we can negate this with the Droplet, yeah, and that will put a Fluffal into our hand by sending the vendor.
And what should we search?
Let's get another Penguin so that we plus off our Scythe.
Alright, I had the thought that maybe we should grab Dolphin, because if we do negate something with Toad, we can get back the Penguin already. But
that's an option, but because we have the Bahamut Shark already, we can return the Toad when we use our Toad negate and then summon the Toad again.
That works.
Yeah.
More Toad,
because I don't think they can get through. I don't think they can get through this with the 2 cards that they have.
Considering they passed with those 2 cards last turn. Yeah, I'd agree. They're probably not going to do anything. What does this guy do? Nothing really. He could make some Morg off of this. Thoughts?
Yeah. I would say let him, because if Simorg doesn't, Cruel Whale doesn't target, so you can still hit Simorg.
I was not aware.
Simorg. Yeah.
I really swore Cruel Whale targeted.
Nope. the second effect where you pump Fright for Fusion up does, and there we go. Perfect. And on summon, hit him with that Cruel Whale.
Yeah, this main phase restriction is a little annoying.
Yeah. So we can chain block the Cruel Whale with the Penguin?
Oh, I was chain blocking the Penguin with the Cruel Whale.
That's true. Also, you can use the Cruel Whale effect to dump the repair to ensure that you don't draw it with the Penguin, but since we already sided that out, it doesn't matter. So now we can use Scythe to avoid destruction. Draw 2, pitch Godarla, because I don't think we're going to be using it.
Yeah, probably not. It looks like we've dealt with all the problems.
Yeah.
And we're going to a game 3. Will they make us go first? What do you think?
I think because they were successful, because we were more successful going second, I think they are going to make us go first, so I think we should go all the way back to what we started with. Because we were so successful going second.
Okay, what's the last card?
The third Scythe is the last card.
So hard to side out cards that you main.
Yeah, but it's understandable as to why you would have Scythe like that. Oh, God. What the hell is this?
I don't know. The worst hand possible? Driver Gamma, the searchable sheep.
Yeah, sheep's a one of because it's so searchable. So this is kind of really unfortunate. Wow. Wow, that's rough. Thankfully we got a chance at a let's wait until he goes for Test Panther.
Yeah, at least Test Panther seems worth negating. Is he really thinking about that? I mean, like, that's his whole deck.
Maybe he wants to go for Farajit first? I'm not sure.
Interesting.
Oh, he wants to secure his plays.
Well, at this point, what would he do? Just summon Karas and do that? Oh, speaking of.
Yep.
Alright.
I suppose
Well,
so.
Can we win the game if we don't stop this?
We can try to use Gamma on our turn to secure our plays in case he gets rid of the Lambda.
Something tells me he won't be
That
getting rid
might
of
be
it.
an option. Yeah.
Alright. What would he make? Is it just the barrier statue?
Well, it's a 2, so... No, because he wouldn't be getting a winged beat. He'd be getting either Farajit or Test Panther off of this.
Okay. Do we try to stop it? Do we just assume he has the Gamma? I mean, he probably does, because he could have probably done a better play.
Yeah, he probably does. So let's let him have it, and then if he links off the Lambda later, which he can't, because... Oh!
Well, it's a Wing Beast. He could just link these two into...
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
So
well, we'll try to Gamma this in.
Because we have to, otherwise we lose to the barrier statue. But if he Gammas us, I mean, we're in the same place. Yeah, nothing surprising.
Yeah. Thankfully, his barrier statue won't have any protection. Like, he doesn't have anything that'll stop us from just normal summoning chain and attacking it.
Ah!
Oh!
That has protection.
That's not a barrier. And we get mega punished because of the Lambda. Okay.
Well, I mean, we were gonna eventually run into it anyway. It wasn't avoidable.
That's not a terrible draw, actually, but we're never gonna resolve that, is the problem.
Well, I mean, We should have to try something, I think. I think we're in a position where if they
Yeah,
just let too much go, we actually do have a chance.
yeah, and they might let dog go because we have 4 other cards in hand. Not so. Let's normal summon dog and go for it.
Alright, they negate dog, we scoop. If they don't negate dog, we'll probably scoop in a minute. And that's that.
Yeah. Okay, and that's that.
Oh well.
That was a really unfortunate, unlikely hand, though. Like, let's be honest.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll play
that
another
is
one and
not-
see if we
that
can
is
we
not
can
a-
draw a bit better.
Yeah, that's not a common indication of the deck.
Alright, let's try this again. Can we draw better? I really want to just open what's that spell card? I can't
Full
even
board.
remember. Oh, this thing's glued to our hand.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, so goods into bear, and then bear pitch wings.
Goods into
pretty
vendor,
natural.
vendor into bear, bear pitch wings. Okay. Have you ever used the second effect of bear?
I actually have, because I'm only running 2 poly. Sometimes turn 3, it's nice to be able to retrieve it, especially when you got repair to set up. Ooh, that's rough. Okay.
Oh, we're drawing, right?
Yeah, we're gonna do the big draw. Now, if that was Gamma instead of Driver, we'd be able to do this completely protected. So let's get Penguin so that we can have our free Toad.
Alrighty. Should we patchwork first? I mean, does it matter?
Yeah, let's patchwork while we have nothing on board to make them think that we're trying to get away with Gamma.
What's the desirable
Let's
one?
get Scythe because we're gonna get Scythe because we don't actually have any plays beyond the Toad, and once the Toad negates, we'll get a Penguin back.
Okay. Don't negate me. They didn't. Alright.
The Dolphin.
What should we send?
And we can send we can send another Wings for next turn, or we can send Sabers. I'd say the Wings for next turn is better because we're not really. If we had a Fluffal in our hand to stack to the top for this vendor that we just set, then we'd obviously get Sabers so that we could pop off. But since we don't, we're just gonna send the Wings again.
Okay. Should we bother trying to vendor to draw anything, or?
We might as well with the driver, but let's do that after we make the Toad.
Oh, okay. Whoops. Hopefully that doesn't backfire. I think it'd be hard to.
Yeah, it doesn't matter that much. It's just about securing the play and getting the Toad as early as possible.
Ruh-roh. Okay.
Okay.
Vendor
yeah,
pitch
let's
driver.
Vendor pitch driver. On hindsight, I just noticed you had the Fright for Fusion. Oh! Well, that is actually gonna be a little helpful.
Should we summon it?
There's not a lot of value in. Honestly, no, because we're better off having it in our hand for the Cruel Whale. I guess we'll just have to end our turn here, because I do realize I actually made a mistake.
What was the difference we should have made?
Popped off. Ooh,
Huh.
that's actually fine. Because if it bounces our Bahamut, who cares?
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's not a big deal because it can't come itself back. So the play I just realized we could have made is if we sent the Sabers, we could have then summoned back the Sabers, linked off for Cross Sheep, and then Fright for Fusion for Tiger to pop our own vendor under the Cross Sheep.
Okay.
I just realized. Yeah, let's hit the zoo.
No zoo for you. All right. Whale.
Yeah. And then whale pop vendor so that we can have a...
Does Dolphin do something when fusioned?
Or Crew Whales pop. Yeah, it returns a poly to deck, but we want to make sure that's the second chain link so that our Crew Whales activation is secure.
Okay. Should we force the...
And then we can also send repair.
Should we do this now, or should we wait on that?
We can wait. We can wait on that.
Just because, like, I know he's had they had Valor before, right?
Yeah. But Valor is only our main phase. Now we can add anything we want.
I'm not sure what that would be in this game state. We kind of have access to everything with the goods. All right. So now we can send something.
Yeah. So we'll send a repair.
What are we adding to hand?
And let's get... well, let's get a dog, just because on the empty game state it's pretty strong, and we're unfortunately currently out of Dolphin.
Is there ever like a scenario where it makes sense to use Fright for Whale to send...
OTK.
Does it ever make sense to use Fright for Whale to send a Fright Fur to grave from the extra deck?
Yeah. When you want to make repairs Reborn effect live, or when you want to use Fright for Fusion,
Okay.
while only having to summon Sabretooth, while only having the Crew Whale itself as a target. So this is easy pickings, actually. We just normal summon dog here.
Yep. Okay.
We can search whatever we want. We can get a penguin. And then we can use our goods. Just stay...
Always vendor, right?
Yeah, send vendor. And let's grab a Sabers with vendor. And then just go into Tiger, pop both of those cards, and then fuse again with the...
Tigers, Sabers, and we're using Penguin?
Penguin? Yep.
Chain Link?
And that we can chain... Yeah, we can chain block our Tiger so that they can't respond with like a strike or something. Because then they'll have to respond to the Penguin with the strike. That's just not as good.
And a Scoop.
Yeah, and we automatically win. So if they had kept going to see if we could OTK, yeah. So anyway, let's side for going second, I guess. So same sort of... Let's go with 2 Eldritch and the Sabers instead of the Popper-Up. Sorry, the...
I assumed you meant Scythe.
And then... Yeah. We could go with... Oh, I wonder how back row heavy they are. We didn't really get to see if it was a tri-zoo variant or like a hand trap back row zoo variant.
Well, it looks like it's a going second zoo variant where they might like play anti-spell and then
That's true. They
try
were
and just
playing
send all our
alpha.
stuff.
They were playing alpha.
I feel
so
like
maybe...
Gardal is probably solid because they might just make Trident or, you know, to try and protect like a Zeus in the future.
Yeah, Godarla is a decent idea. Honestly, I think we're fine like this because we're not sure if they're going to make us go first or second.
Alright, I guess we'll see what they do.
And because of that, we can sort of go with this more wishy-washy kind of setup, because if they make us go first, Eldritch is still a good extender going first, at the very least, and if they make us go second, Eldritch is very strong going second.
This hand looks like it does a lot.
This hand definitely does a lot. They activated Rapier, that was a mistake. We can just gamma it.
Goodbye, Rat. What do we lose to? I mean, they can talents us and take something. Although they might draw. Fortunately, with Barrage at 1, there's not a lot of extenders in the zoo deck.
Yeah.
Tri-Brigade could...
Plus, we have the nuts here. Yeah. Okay, we can just OTK.
Alright.
So we can bear.
Alright,
we can't really do much to bear because it sets from deck. We can patchwork.
Alrighty. I assume we want a chain to pitch.
Hey, Polly. No, we're actually... Ooh, that's fine. This is actually 100% fine, by the way.
Right.
We're going to pitch the Golden Lord.
I love pitching Golden Lord. That's what I've been doing in my build. Then he usually just comes back and kills Vendor for us.
Oh, perfect. Send the Penguin. And now we can send the Vendor for Golden Lord.
Do they play Bell or
So he'll come
Crow?
back at 35.
They play Crow. Will they hit the right card? Is the question. Because one of them is better than the other, right?
Yeah, if they hit Eldritch, it's a bad choice. If they hit Vendor, that's a better choice.
I mean, it's 3,500 damage. Oh, they hit Vendor, so they made the right choice.
Yeah. Okay. And we just summoned the Eldritch.
But I think we have damage anyway, right?
Yeah. So now we can summon Dog through either normal summon or special summon. Because we did not normal summon that Penguin.
Alright. What is the search target?
Dog. Let's get Dolphin. So that we can instantly set up our Wings play.
Alright. Oh, they banished the thing.
Oh, they did banish that. Okay, that's fine. We can just go into Bahamut, I guess. It's kind of risky, so let's get our attacks in first before we go into Bahamut.
Alright, because that's already 4 summons,
That's not
right?
enough for game. Yeah. Normally we'd be able to do that in 3 if they didn't banish the Vendor. But it's already game, so they just scoop.
Alright, so just to math this up, this is a 32 and 17 is like 40, 49 and 35 is game, yeah. Oh, this is a lot of damage for that. You up for one more game?
Yeah, sure. You get so much out of siding Eldritch. Honestly, I've been thinking of just cutting Gamma and maining it.
Yeah, I think it might be the way to go. I've been really enjoying the build I've been playing.
Because Gamma's been getting in the way a lot for me recently. But at the same time, I'm kind of scared going into next
Going into what?
Because next format... I'm kind of scared of going into next format without Gamma. Because next format seems like it's going to be very, very... Oh, Jesus, speaking of Gamma.
Okay.
Let's patchwork first.
Okay. I don't know what the right answer is to do here. What I do in most decks I play is I just start doing sets and flip summons.
Let's get Sabers.
I would normally do a set, a flip summon, attack, and continue that until they're dead, hoping they never draw beta.
Let's set the Poly. The reason I'm saying this is so that we take less damage off of our giant popper-up that we're about to do.
Okay. Popper up?
So let's go popper up. Send repair one of the dogs and chain.
Oh, this is good.
Yeah, and we get chain. to get another patchwork because we drew into our Fright for Fusion.
Doesn't seem like they have Gamma.
Yeah, we can honestly just go nuts here.
They could have Alpha.
They could have Alpha, so let's normal the dog. Search for Penguin, because we have the repair, so we can go special Penguin, then... search Dolphin.
It's alright, I was thinking about that for a second.
Yeah. So we can use repair to summon the Dolphin, then summon the... summon the Penguin, then summon the Dolphin. I get ahead of myself when I'm speaking, sorry.
It's alright. So the only one that we don't know that they have at the moment is Delta or Beta, just because, well, they didn't activate in response to a spell.
We can make a free Toad here. We can't do Dolphin because we never sent a
vendor.
A vendor. That's fine. We'll have security.
Preference on the detach? Does it matter?
Dolphin, just because it hasn't had its value yet. And they lost connection. Okay.
Yeah, they ran away.
So what we would do from here, is we'd have game by just going Poly for Tiger and then Fright for Fusion with the things we used for Tiger into Kraken.
Okay.
And we'd be able to secure our play from interruption both by having Tiger pop the Psyframe circuit and by having Toad to ensure that they didn't have the battle one, so that we could just punch in for instant game with Kraken and Tiger, because
Kraken can attack
Tiger
twice, because of course.
Kraken can attack twice, and Tiger boosts by 300 per Fluffal and Frightfur for every Frightfur monster. So Kraken would actually have gained 600 to be a 2800 attack beater that attacks twice, and Tiger would be 22, and then you'd also have Toad. So it would be a fairly easy win from that position.
Okay, let's see what Psyframe they had in hand out of curiosity. They had Beta, so Toad was going to stop Beta, and they had the Trap one, which I do think is it should be in main decks now. I think it's traps are the only way you're really going to make plays by stopping traps.
And then 2 parallel exceeds for some reason.
Well, I mean, the decks usually play like Cyverse Gadget, and they go into a bunch of Link 1, so they have some ways to do it. All the things that they're playing make sense to me. Everything.
This is cool. I haven't seen the modern iteration of Psyframe, so this is really neat.
Yeah, you hop your squadron so that you can like synchro off your turn 1 drivers into Omega on your opponent's turn.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I don't like the variation, but it is what's being played in most builds.
We would have been completely secure by just attacking with Toad first, negating the Beta with Toad and destroying it, and then attacking with Tiger and Kraken.
Yeah, also they wouldn't have been able to make the synchro because we would have popped the circuit, so...
We would have popped the circuit, yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty, let's go back to the deck list and see if there's anything that we need to address. Alright, is there anything that didn't come up? Well, I think our whole main combo didn't come up, but anything in particular that we need to go over that people might want to see besides the main combo?
Yeah, so the main combo usually ends on, and it's kind of sad that we didn't get to it either because of interruption or because of...
Bricking with the weirdest hands ever?
Yeah, dealing with some absolutely bizarre hands. Usually it ends on 3 to 4 mat Apo, Totally Awesome, and Hope Harbinger, and maybe a Dweller if you get a really high roll hand. And that's just really hard for a lot of decks to deal with. You're basically asking them to open Dark Ruler No More or Droplet or Bust, because that's... Because the thing about Hope Harbinger is when it's on the field at the same time as Apo, its secondary effect, not the one that negates spells, but the one that
redirects attacks
to itself, will make sure that you can get every single negate out of your Appaloosa. And on top of that, it also prevents decks like Zoo from using their Xyz monsters direct attackers to
try and make that Zeus
clear through your board. make Zeus without activating anything and having enough to get through both the Appaloosa and the Toad with the Zeus.
Yeah,
They can't hit
I
you
really
with
like
the
that
Boar Bone.
because
The Boar Bone
Appaloosa is supposedly really good in
Exactly.
main phase 2, but you're turning main phase 1 into main phase 2.
And you're making sure that it gets every single negate. Because a lot of people are like, oh, well, Appaloosa isn't 3 negates, or it's not 4 negates. It's you negate something once, and then they attack over you with something that's 1600 or higher. And it's like, not when Hope Harbinger's on the field.
All right, that's
They
really
have
cool.
to attack it. They have to address that.
Yeah.
And then Toad is there to protect from traps and imperm. There are builds that I've built that play 2 Toad and 2 Bahamut, and you can combo into both in exceptionally high roll hands. And even, like, say for example, you have your Toad that's set up before your first cross sheet, and then you use your fusion play to go into Tiger to pop a Vendor, and then get a second Dolphin, and the Toad will summon Penguin. Sorry, the cross sheep will summon Penguin, and then you get a second Toad out of that. So there are some really, really powerful plays in this deck that you're able to do going first and going second. And that's sort of one of the deck's best attributes, is your ability to
Not hard lose to the dice roll.
50-50. You don't hard lose to the dice roll, and you can make your opponent second guess and play this weird 50-50 game where they're not sure if you're going to go first or second, because you have the ability to do both capably, provided you don't get weird double chain sheep gamma driver hands. Like, I don't even know what that was.
Well, it happened. Why don't we do a test hand just for to show the full board?
Yeah.
Do you think this would produce full board?
I think, yeah, we can start by doing the goods into wings. It really depends, because there's no linear combos in Fluffals.
Which is the other reason I like
than
it.
Small combos to generate advantage.
All right.
And then you build up that advantage and use it to make your huge boards. So yeah, Toad. Sorry, jeez, I'm really getting mixed up on my words. So Bear, Vendor, Wings.
And this is like when you get free pluses.
Yeah, so let's special the dog.
Because you really just want to have like
you
really just want to have a Penguin Dolphin in hand, right?
Yeah.
Grab Penguin, right? Just to confirm.
Grab Penguin. Yep.
All right.
And then before we do anything else, we got to make sure that Wings resolves so that we can send that Vendor to the graveyard for that Penguin. Sorry, for the Dolphin. Whew. And let's get ourselves Cat, because we have everything else. So let's get Cat. Normal.
Should we thin the deck out a little with the patchwork?
Yeah, sure. There's no harm. At this point, we have literally everything.
Is there a preferable edge imp?
Let's get Chain. Because we're gonna send the Sabers off of the Dolphin.
Got it.
We're gonna go with Penguin and Dolphin.
So Dolphin set Vendor, send Sabers?
Sabers, yeah. And now we can go Bahamut first, and then Toad will be summon 5.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, okay. All right.
And we can special summon the sheep. Bounce that dog back for the sabers in our graveyard. And link off sabers and Bahamut for cross sheet. Then we can go poly with chain and cat.
For which one?
And we can go into Kraken. It doesn't actually matter at this point, but let's go into Kraken.
To the awesome
and
zone?
We want to go into cross
I mean the
yeah.
cross shape zone. I was trying to say cross shape. I said awesome, like totally awesome zone.
Yeah, and we can chain block the sheep with the cat, so that way we make sure that we. So, sheep act with, since it's returning a spell card to hand, there's not that much that interacts with specifically returning spells, and we can grab Fright for Fusion. And then we're going to get the Penguin. Because Penguin's effect is a soft once per turn. So we can summon back the dog, or we can... Let's stack for sabers first.
I already clicked it.
Yeah,
My bad.
That's okay. We can go into Dweller here, because we actually have the room to extend all the way for full combo. So let's put Dweller there. Let's stack one of our stack one of our polys for sabers, so that we can use Patchwork in a later turn. Link for Proxy F.
Using cross sheep
or just
and...
use our poly. It doesn't matter, but yeah, using cross sheep and chain or penguin or sheep. So yeah, and then use again
with proxy.
Using Proxy F, and yeah, that's fine.
I'm not familiar with Proxy F's
effect. You don't have to use our
effect.
polys anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, so it just uses using things on the field.
Okay.
And then we can actually use the Sabertooth, revive a Kraken. And then use the Kraken, Sabertooth, and Proxy F for Apo. And then use our Fright for Fusion to banish one of the Sabertooths and probably Sheep by summoning Sabertooth.
Should we banish him? Well, we're gonna Xyz summon.
We're gonna Xyz summon. We don't need the protection, and that will get you to your Hope Harbinger. So that's usually my board, and that was completely protected by Nibiru because the Toad was summoned 5.
Okay, so this is the expected turn 1
has
board.
To deal with a spell negate. This is the high roll turn 1 board. Usually the Dweller isn't always there, but usually it's a 3 to 4 Mad Apo, Toad, Hope Harbinger.
So if we were short a monster, we would have just put it into the Appaloosa, I guess?
Into the Apo, yeah, exactly. And also sometimes you have Scythe in hand to back this up. So in that scenario, the opponent has to deal with a spell negate that doesn't negate activation. So if you negate a Nadir, it only negates effects, so they can't activate another one. An Omni negate that steals stuff, so you can like take your opponent's Sanguine and they're locked out of Eldritch. The Dweller, so they're completely locked out of the graveyard, and then
Appaloosa
because you have the Harbinger, and then sometimes you also have like Edge Imp Scythe in hand, and that's just so hard to deal with.
Yeah, this is cool.
So that's sort of the main goal of the first turn board, but it's fairly high rolly, and while it's good, sometimes when you get like your in that zoo game, and you're very reliant on what you've drawn, and you kind of use a lot of resources, but Fluffal, in a sense, gets to everything, so it's not that hard to get to a board like this consistently because so many things search so many other things.
Yeah, just being able to vendor search, and get more vendors, set up more vendors, draw cards off a vendor, and then even Dolphin for more vendors. You can get everywhere pretty much. And
Yeah.
just a lot of copies of
then-
stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So then on the next turn, they're pretty much completely screwed. Also, that 500 boost from Abyss Dweller is actually really helpful because Abyss Dweller also boosts Cruel Whale and Kraken, so you can like use your opponent's. You can use that boost to ensure that you OTK. So we're gonna get another.
Well, we don't really have
volley.
access to
Unfortunately,
Fluffals
that
after
kinda
that.
leaves, that. Yeah. Well, we would actually. We would have access to a penguin because the toad would negate something and return the penguin. So we'd have full fusion plays from this point, and also we can resolve that that patchwork in our hand by returning one of the polys, because we only play 2 poly. But if we return a poly with sabers and then activate the patchwork, we can ensure that it's live. But yeah, we should have a penguin in our hand because we probably use the toad negate,
Yeah.
and that way we'd ensure that we have our big fusion play. So that's sort of how things would go here.
Gotcha.
I hope that's helped.
Oh yeah, this was fantastic. Any matchup things worth mentioning that people might want to know about?
Let's see. I would say this deck actually has a really good matchup against Invoke Shadal, because you don't really care that much about Winda. In fact, the bigger problem is Mechaba, but like Winda's not really a big issue for this deck because you just fuse once, and a lot of the fusions that deal with some of your problem cards, like Kraken sends for card effect, it doesn't destroy, so it just instantly outs Winda. Or if you're worried about Dogmatic Punishment, Cruel Whale boosting itself can make it bigger than anything that they could send that they would normally be running.
Well, it's not a guarantee, but I guess it's pretty good.
It makes itself 39. Yeah, you can't. They might be playing like 5-headed or something like that, but specifically for the Invoke Shadal Dogmatica matchup where they
All right. I also like that this
have their extra
that
deck pretty
Kraken's
much full
water.
with these fusions.
That these are water, so they can't just send it away with the Winda. With the Schism.
They can't send it away with Schism. Yeah, exactly. So that matchup's actually kind of easy for some reason. Let's see what else. There's interesting tech in regards to Cruel Whale when it comes to using Penguin as material, because you don't select your target and you don't immediately, and Saber and Scythe doesn't activate. You can, for example, Cruel Whale, Penguin, and then send the repair with Cruel Whale to make sure you don't draw it off the Penguin. And then if you draw into Gamma with the Penguin, you can choose to let the Cruel Whale die so that your field is empty for the Gamma.
And try and force out some sort of a monster effect.
Yeah. So that your field's completely empty. Or likewise, you can, if you have Gamma first and then Cruel Whale, you can ensure that your driver doesn't get banished by using the Cruel Whale as pop to pop the driver. There's a lot of really interesting interactions. Likewise, Gamma is live a lot of the time when you're setting up your advantage, because you have goods, patchwork, popper up, and even stuff like Bear and Wings, they're not monsters on your field, so you have a long period of time of amassing advantage where you just have nothing. And I think Gamma is very important moving forward because next format is going to be very Droll heavy
Something
because
to
of
stop the
Drytron and
Drytron.
because
Yeah.
and because of Scraptor Dino. Because Scraptor Dino also adds a lot to hand. So I think people are going to be maining Droll, and this deck has a very, very hard time against Droll. It basically auto wins if they Droll you successfully. Because you literally almost all your deck adds things from deck to hand.
Lots of searching, lots of drawing. Yeah.
So in the future, I recommend Gamma, even if it does screw you sometimes, like it had for us. The other option is Herald of the Orange Light.
Well,
Which,
most of these cards
because
are
most
fairies.
of your Fluffals are fairies, does work. Unfortunately, because nothing in your hand does anything on its own, losing out on Orange Light and a Fluffal, and you don't get anything for most of the Fluffals, with the exception of Wings, don't do that much when pitched off, say, an Orange Light. You might find yourself losing out on resources because you had to pitch it Orange Light to survive. But Orange Light is also an option.
Okay. What's your thoughts on the Dragon matchup?
I would say it's closer to even than folks would expect. It's the best deck in the format, so like I'm not saying that it's
I'm not saying it's a good
because
matchup,
you
but
have these huge plays. Yeah, you have these big chain blocking plays, and you can clear boards pretty easily going second. And a Dragon Link player isn't gonna be able to play through that board that we did in that test hand. Like most things can't. And sometimes scything the right thing, like your opponent goes for the say for example your opponent goes for the play where they have the spears up and they have LP and the one rocket the one striker dragon, and they're about to, and they've summoned that LP and striker dragon, and they're gonna, the moment that striker dragon comes on, you shotgun the cruel whale onto the spheres, and now they've just got this LP and striker dragon. They have to link those off for another spheres and just kind of pass there, because they've lost the ability to use that LP at all. There's a lot of weird interactions like that where your ability to just completely wipe something off the face of the map at any point of the turn, regardless of whether your opponent's activated, is extremely strong, as well as all of your board breaking tools that are in that side, and your ability to sort of go, I could play going second or I could play going first, I don't care. You have a lot of strengths to work with in that matchup, but I'm not, when I say it's even, I'm saying it's as even as a rogue deck can get in terms of the best deck in the format.
yeah, I agree. I think your analysis is solid on that. I hope everybody got something out of this video.
Glad I could help.
Yeah, it was a pleasure having you. I will be linking to the MBT video if people are interested in the artifact Scythe. Fright for Meister play, I think is what it is, right?
Yes.
Necroid fusion, Tiger on their turn.
Yes. Fright for Meister is very interesting. This build doesn't play it, but we've also determined that you can search literally any hand trap in the game using that has 1500 or less.
By sending Sangan?
By special summoning Sangan from your deck with it. So there's a lot of tech that is sort of like potentially the future of this deck. Okay. And the better generic fiend targets come out, the better Meister's gonna get.
Alright, so just so everyone knows, in the artifact build, this is usually used to summon Lilith, Lady of Lament, who then sets Necroid Fusion, but really it's tribute a level 4, a level 3 monster to search level 4 or level 3 fiends generally, right?
Yeah, special summon them from the deck. The other effects aren't really relevant, and they fusion lock you, so that's kind of... they're not as good, but that effect specifically is incredible.
Alright, cool.
This version doesn't play it because, again, it's focused on that sort of Hope Harbinger cat interaction. It's very powerful.
Yeah, cool. Alright, I'll make sure everybody sees that, and we will see you guys next time. Make sure you hit that sub button, and yeah, thanks for watching.